start and then we'll start.
Welcome to Lambspun Live. We are celebrating the life and books of Maggie Sefton, someone that is extremely dear to my heart. She and I have been friends since way back, even before she started writing the books. We didn't even know that she was the same author until later we realized that we had met way back, and my husband had actually gone to CSU and studied with her husband. We'd been to her house for a party. Mm-hmm. So there's all these little stories that just weave in and out. But today we're welcoming her 4 daughters, and they're just going to share with you a little memory of Maggie or the books or any little story about Lambspun. And it's Christine, and Melissa, Serena, Maria, and last but not least is Theo, the most important party guest today. And I know we want to know more about Theo, so we're just going to turn it over now to the daughters.
You want to start? Sure. Thank you so much for allowing us to be here today to honor our mother. We're really excited for the opportunity. She spoke so fondly of Lambspun and the community that you have built here. She was always welcomed and felt just a real closeness and welcoming environment. And she loved the fact that she could promote this really cool lifetime of effort where you guys are brought together in community and be able to create these really wonderful arts pieces through knitting, and having her books be part of this community was really special to her. The little story I wanted to tell everybody about is, so being the oldest, I was around with her the longest, and I will never forget coming home from, I want to say it's like the 4th grade, maybe the 5th grade, and she was so intent on writing. This was something that she just was called to do. Being able to put these stories down on paper is something that she would be filled up with characters and have to find a way to get them out. And so I remember coming from school and she was literally locked in her room, and these two are running around the house.
She's walked to the bathroom.
Yeah, and like running around the house, and I'm like, Mom. She's like, I got, like, I'm almost done with the chapter. I'm almost done. Just watch the girls for a minute. And so I am like, have to, obviously go into big sister mode and make sure that they're not doing anything terrible. But that was my, fond memories of her, just how committed she was to her writing and the gift that she had.
Anybody else?
And I think.
No, I was just going to say that, when after Mom passed and we had come back here and visited with Shirley and everybody, and we just asked about, hey, I think we asked the question, are Mom's books still selling? And they're like, Serena, you don't understand. We have people who come from Australia, from all over the globe, to come here to visit Shirley, to visit the table, to visit Lambspun.
Amazing.
To see it because they saw it in Mom's books, but they wanted to be a part of it. And so we were stunned. I mean, I'll be honest. We were stunned, but then it just kind of warms our heart because Mom's presence is still here.
Yeah.
And that y'all mention her almost every day. That's
For sure.
Yeah, so she's here now. She's laughing because she's like, I told you. But for us, I mean, what a legacy to leave. That people still come because they want to see this because they read it in all of her books. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you.
And to continue what she was saying, I don't think you find that in a lot of novels. An actual place, I'm a voracious reader. Most of my sisters are, and you read about a village in England, and you want to think that, if I go there, I'll meet the same people. And chances are you won't. But in her books, you will. And that, I think, is amazing. So I used to live in New York City for many years, and Mom had a lot of writing conferences in that area. So she would always come in and hang out with me in my pad on the Upper West Side. We had a great blast. I remember her teaching me how to knit. And she bought me the biggest, fattest knitting needles. They were plastic. And I was sitting there, and I'm like, okay, I dropped it. And I'm like, how do I do this? Because I can't get a hang of it. But she was patient. It worked. I actually found other knitting communities within the area, the neighborhood that I lived in, Upper West Side, to help along. And it was so nice to come to a table like other knitters here that are novice, where I could come and just get help and advice and not, you know, and I love that. I remember a scarf that I knitted for myself. I was going out to Maria's. She was stationed overseas in Oundle, which was near Peterborough.
In the UK.
And at that time I was knitting. And I was knitting a scarf for both me and her. But I didn't know how to finish it. So it had these ends. So I remember giving it to her for a Christmas present, and it had these ends because I didn't know how to finish them. I know Mom told me how to, but I was frazzled. I'm like, I don't know how to do it. So Maria, I remember she unwrapped it and was just like, it's got ends. These two strong. I didn't know how to finish it, and I have the same scarf actually because I love that the yarn group that we use, and I found that scarf when we were doing a lot of packing, and I'm like, I've got to keep this because it reminds me. Now the ends are neat, but it just, Mom. Every time I try to learn how to knit, when I drop a stitch or something, I remember Mom. She was actually very patient, and I love that.
And we get that from customers all the time. What do I do with these ends?
And Maria, thank you for being so understanding.
I've got a few good memories. Definitely her writing and the way that she would describe her characters. And she'd come visit, and she would always describe her characters as just presenting to her on a stage and speaking their story. And even if she didn't want to listen to it at the time, they were insistent, and she had to write it down. And I loved her description of that, because I'm not sure, do other writers experience the same thing? I don't know, but the way she described it sounded wonderful and beautiful at the same time, and just blessed to have that creativity. And it's that creativity I always remember. I remember her knitting the chunky scarves. I remember my house was filled with chunky squares that I just put all over the place.
She went to a Welsh festival in your neighborhood.
Yes, she went to a Welsh festival in my neighborhood. I had chunky squares, knitting squares all over the place. It was wonderful. I'm still finding them in places. But I do remember as we were going through her things that her early writing days, she hand wrote everything in notebooks.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, notebooks
And we found them.
notebooks
And they're
notebooks,
beautiful. And we've even found some unfinished manuscripts.
Very
all printed
cool.
out. And those are the precious things that we're holding on to. But my story also involves just having her books been in. So I was in the Navy. I deployed all over places, and she would send me some books. And so her books are sprinkled throughout Iraq and Afghanistan. So Australia's great, but now they're in all places.
Shirley, get ready.
But just wonderful memories, and I think I also really love that she put recipes at the end.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't tell you where I'm looking for her mint chocolate fudge recipe, and I can't find it. I'm like, I gotta go find it in a book. And I go to the bags. Exactly. And patterns.
Blueberry pie.
Patterns too. So and my children have started reading the books, and I love just passing her love of her creativity and her love and passion that she found through these series, and we can't be happier to know that her life and her legacy continues to live on. So we're very blessed. Very blessed.
We're very blessed.
Can I add something? My memory. I know, my name is Larissa. I know Maggie after her first book. It's a long time ago because I met her here. And now with some, like you said, pattern, but knitting patterns. My name here in some books. I yes, so what I want to say, I knew her for all these years, and once she said, I need to clean the snow, And my nephew came, he was 20 years old, from Ukraine. And I told him, do you want to help? Yeah. But as soon as I called to Ukraine, they telling me, he's cleaning snow to the right.
That's your nephew. Oh my God.
Oh, that's Dimitri?
That's Dimitri.
Yes.
Oh, I heard that with Dimitri.
Yes. Even more.
Yeah. He got married and had a child with you.
Yeah.
So it was difficult for him to come back and see
Absolutely.
Dimitri. Oh, so much about Dimitri from our mom.
So listen, but after that, I believe it's you. You went to space on Russian ship. It was oh my gosh, I thought you.
Yeah.
So you went in space.
Come here.
Then it's again, I'm telling Dmitro, I said, can you believe you are cleaning snow from Mars? So it's my brother, no, of course he's dead. He said all our neighbor knows about it. Everybody in Ukraine, so oh my gosh. And of course for Maggie, I'm asking her, I said, you know, I heard, no, because it's Russian ship, it's a hole in the ship.
Oh yeah.
She's in space. I said, what do you feel? Are you worried? She said, no. Yesterday I talked to her, everything is fine. How you talk? It's amazing. It's amazing, always technology. You know, probably it's unbelievable. And of course, no, she was something. She was something.
She was a force of nature.
Yeah,
I'll
we
never
missed
forget.
her.
I'll never forget. One day she called me and she was crying, and I was like, "Mom, what is going on?" I'm like, she's like, I had to kill him, and I'm like, I didn't want to do it, but I had to kill him. It just, the story wouldn't have worked if he hadn't died. But I'm just, and she is sobbing. She wrote about killing a character in one of her books, and I was like, I don't understand it, but it's gonna be okay, Mom. It's gonna be okay.
No. I kind of was always curious about how you make a nose, no, how you kill him. Describe. You're not like policeman, I don't know. So how you know? She said, when I went downstairs, no, because all murders happen downstairs. In my so she said, I came and Shirley is dying young. And I came, I took a knife and I thought, what angle? So I said, this is something. She's something. Yes. She was something. Unfortunately. No, so yeah. We missed. Yes.
I can't help but think that Maggie is really laughing right now. And we couldn't even have a meal. We would have meals together quite a bit as good friends. And her favorite thing to do was to brag on these 4 daughters. And whether they screwed up or they were doing amazing things, it didn't matter. They were just amazing. And she really did believe that these characters just came to her, they spoke through her. And we will never forget her stories. They're
Daughter in
in our
the
hearts.
space. I told this story to everybody, customers. As soon as they came here, this is Maggie. Her daughter was in the space. You know, that's it. You know, that started.
So enjoy refreshments. Thank you for joining us, and you're welcome here all the time. This is your home.